History. That's what it is. Phillies had a historic game where they had 5 home runs in the World Series, game three. And Houston, they followed up with a historic game. Got a team no hitter. The first team no hitter in postseason history and World Series history. That's good job. Javier, he came in, he did what he had to do, didn't allow a single run, only allowed 2 walks, and had 9 strikeouts and 6 innings of work. Totally dismantled that batting order. A batting order that went 0 for 27. And then the bullpen, they came in, did what they did. Abreu, Presley, and Montero, they came in and did what they did. Went 3 innings. Hold on. Went 3 innings, didn't allow a hit or run, had 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. Excellent. Perfection. Now I'm gonna get into what makes this so historic. Outside of what I just told you, there's more to this than just that. But I'm gonna give you a quick summary of the game. So the first 5 innings, it was just a pitching duel. Aaron Nola, I mean, he got into some trouble at the beginning, but he managed to wiggle his way out of it. He went 4 innings without allowing a single run. Um, Went 4 innings without allowing a single run, and Javier, I already told you about Javier. Went 6 innings without allowing a single run. But the fireworks didn't start until the fifth inning, the top of the fifth. Aaron Nola, he comes in. He's pitching. McCormick comes up to the plate. He gets a single. Pena comes up behind him. He gets a single. Altuve comes up behind him. He gets a single. See, Altuve, he's been struggling this whole entire postseason. But it's just like when it matters most, he comes through and gets hits when he gets a clutch hit when it matters most. Game two, he went 3 for 4 after going 0 for 4 the previous game. And I think the game before this one, game three, he went hitless. And then, but when it mattered most, he came through and got a hit, which loaded the bases. And in comes Alvarez. Nola hits Alvarez and it drives in a run. McCormick, now the score is 1-0. Manager comes in, he takes out Nola. Then Alvarado comes in. Now Bregman comes up to the plate. He gets a double. Altuve and Pena score, making the score 3-0. So those 3 runs are charged to Nola. Nola goes 4 innings, allows 7 hits, allows 3 runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. He didn't really have a bad start. It's just that he just got into some trouble in that inning. Outside of that, he really didn't have a bad start. So the score is now 3-0. The runners that he was responsible for, I think they all scored. Yeah, they all scored. The and those 3 runners were the 3 runners that were loading the bases before he was taken out. The 3 runners that loaded the bases before he was taken out. Those were the only runs that were charged to him. Bregman, not Bregman, but Tucker, he comes in, he gets a sac fly, and that drives in Alvarez. That run is charged to Alvarado. And then Gurriel, he singles and drives in Bregman, which makes it 5-0. And I already told you what the bullpen did. The bullpen, shout outs to that bullpen. Astros probably got the most lethal bullpen in all of baseball. That bullpen has a ERA this postseason. This Houston Astros bullpen has a ERA of .76, under 1. Lethal. And they got so much depth. They got way more depth than the Phillies do. They ain't even used their full arsenal of pitchers to close out this team no hitter. They had they just trotted out Abreu, Montero, and Presley. That's it. They didn't even trot out the rest of those guys. They didn't need them. That's how lethal this team no hitter was. That's how sharp they were tonight. And that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. They struck first and they never looked back. And Pedro Martinez, he said something that struck home with me. When he said that it's really about who strikes first in this series, because the Phillies, they struck first in game 1 and they took it. Game 2, Astros, they took it to them first. Won the series. Game 3, we talked about them homers. They came out bombing with them homers, never looked back. Then Astros, it took 5 innings, but then the Astros, they struck first, never looked back. Didn't allow a hit or a run. They never looked back. It was never after that it was like not in reach. The only question was were they gonna cap off this no hitter, and they did that. Now I told y'all we were gonna get into how historic this no hitter was. But before that, I want to drive this point home, and the point I'm driving home is they did this on the road into a Philadelphia Phillies environment, Citizen Banks Park. Going into this game, the Phillies, they were undefeated. They were 7-0, I believe. They were either 7-0 or 6-0. But the Astros, they are now the 1-6-1. They are the 1-6-1. They went into a hostile environment and dismantled that batting order. Like I just said earlier, they dismantled those guys. No one got a hit. No one looked good. Javier, he was just on one. He was just on one. With those off-speed pitches high in the strike zone, they could not catch that. He was on one. And this is against a Phillies team that has 17 homers. That registered 17 homers in this postseason at home, which is the most in NL history. 17 home runs this whole entire postseason at home. That were undefeated. Yes, they were undefeated. That's what makes this so demoralizing for the Phillies. But that's what makes this Houston Astros pitching team so great. This Houston Astros pitching, they've been carrying this team all season and all postseason. Now they struggled. Now their starting staff, they struggled. I remember reading a graphic um going before game 3. They said that the starters were had an ERA over 7, and then you add in McCullough's performance the night before last. Their ERA is probably up now, but you know what? It's probably up in the tens now after McCullough's performance. But you know what, man? Javier, he probably brought that shit down to like 7. Probably brought it back to 7, maybe even 6. Excellent performance. That was an excellent performance by him. Now let's get into the historic proponents of this game. The Astros have 11 no-hit innings, an 11 no-hit inning streak, which is the longest since the 1939 World Series. 11 straight innings, not allowing a single hit. Christian Javier, he is the only pitcher in MLB history to start in two combined no hitters. Him and Presley, they are the only two pitchers to participate in two combined no hitters. Because remember, this isn't the first combined no hitter that they did this year. Um, they they no hit the Yankees a while back, and Javier he had to start in that game. I think he went seven that game. The Astros they are the third team in MLB history to record a home no hit game, but they are the first team. Uh, let me repeat that. The Astros they are the third team in MLB history to record a no hitter in a playoff game. The third team to do that, but I think they're the first team to do a combined no hitter in a World Series game. The first no hitter was actually a perfect game by a Dodgers pitcher in 1956. I forget his name. I know his first name's Don. I think his last name was Larson. Don Larson, I think this is his name. And then Roy Halladay, rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to Roy Halladay. He gets a no hitter in the 2010 ALDS, I believe, either 2010 or 2011. But yeah, those are the only two to do a no hitter up until now. To do a no hitter in the postseason. Um, let's see what other historical significance this postseason has for the Astros. They're the first team to throw two combined no hitters in a MLB season. Remember the Yankees game where they no hit them, and then last night, incredible. The first team, I told y'all they're the first team to throw a combined no hitter in a postseason game. I told y'all that, and and well, this other milestone isn't for the pitchers; it's actually for the hitters. Bregman, Bregman had just 19 RBIs in a World Series. Not in a single World Series. Not in a single uh not in a single World Series, but like out of all the World Series he's ever been in combined. He has 19 RBIs, which is most for a third baseman in postseason history. Which is incredible. That is incredible. Um but yeah, man. This has been a great World Series. This is probably the best World Series I've ever watched so far. Just back and forth, back and forth. The momentum shifts, everything, the historic significance around these games, everything. Streaks are being broken. The Astros came into the World Series undefeated. Phillies broke that in game one. They broke that streak in game one. The Phillies, they undefeated at home in the postseason. Last night, Houston ended that streak. Houston, they currently have a streak of 11 straight innings with not allowing a hit. That streak is going to be broken tomorrow. Because Phillies, the Phillies, this is their last game. I believe this is their last game in Philly before they head back to Houston. This is their last home game. And I don't think they're gonna go out of here not getting a hit. That's not happening. Trying to see if I forgot something. Hold on. No, I didn't forget anything. Hey, this is just a historic game. A great World Series. Houston, they responded big time. They need to respond again because they got a game tonight, 8 o'clock in Philly. Philly's last home game. The next two, I believe, are gonna be in Houston. Philly, y'all better do something because if the Houston Astros win this game and they head back to Houston for Game 6, I believe that probably will be the last World Series game. The last World Series game of this season. So what's gonna happen? Are the Phillies gonna bounce back, or are the Astros gonna carry this momentum into Houston for Game 6? Are they gonna carry this momentum in the game? Are they gonna carry this momentum from Game 4 into Game 5? And are they gonna travel back to Houston and close out the series in 6? What's gonna happen? Because I do believe if the Phillies win tonight, it's gonna go to 7, and if the Astros win tonight, it's gonna go to 6. What's gonna happen? Is it gonna go to 6 or is it gonna go to 7? I don't know. Stay tuned.